complete, but the war dragged on. His enemies were not yet ready to surrender. He faced stubborn resistance from Pompey's sons and other opponents who were determined to challenge his authority. It was not until 45 BC, after the Battle of Munda in Spain, that Caesar finally extinguished the last embers of opposition, securing his rule. He returned to Rome as the undisputed master of the Republic, celebrated by the people and feared by his rivals. The Senate, cowed and depleted, bestowed upon Caesar unprecedented powers. They had little choice but to comply. He was appointed dictator for life, a position that effectively made him the sole ruler of Rome with no equal. While he continued to observe the outward forms of the Republic, Caesar's word was law. His decisions were final. He controlled the army, the treasury, and the machinery of government, leaving no aspect of Roman life untouched by his influence. Rome, once a bastion of Republican ideals, was now ruled by a single man. The era of the Republic had ended and the age of Caesar had begun. Caesar's reign as dictator was marked by a flurry of reforms. You see, he understood that the Republic, plagued by corruption and inefficiency, needed radical change. He granted citizenship to many people in the provinces, expanded the Senate to include his supporters, and implemented measures to alleviate poverty and unemployment. One of his most lasting achievements was the introduction of the Julian calendar in 45 BC. Developed with the aid of Alexandrian astronomers, this new calendar, with its more accurate 365-day year and leap year provisions, would become the standard calendar in much of the world for centuries to come. Despite his many accomplishments, Caesar's rule was not without its critics. His autocratic style and disregard for traditional norms alienated many in the aristocracy. They whispered of tyranny, fearing that he sought to make himself king. While Caesar refused the crown on at least one occasion, the seeds of discontent were sown. As Caesar consolidated his power, a conspiracy brewed in the shadows. A group of senators, led by Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus, plotted to assassinate him. Motivated by a mix of personal ambition and a belief that Caesar's rule spelled the end of the Republic, they decided to act. On March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar entered the theatre of Pompeii where the Senate was meeting. As he sat down, the conspirators surrounded him, their daggers drawn. Caesar, caught off guard, fought back, but was overwhelmed by their numbers. He fell to the ground, stabbed 23 times, his blood staining the marble floor. The assassination of Caesar sent shockwaves through Rome. The conspirators, hoping to be hailed as liberators, misjudged the mood of the people. The masses, who had benefited from Caesar's reforms and admired his leadership, were outraged by his murder. Rome once again teetered on the brink. Julius Caesar's life was tragically cut short, but his impact on history was profound. He was a brilliant general, a shrewd politician, and a visionary leader who left an indelible mark on Rome and the world. His military conquests expanded the Republic's territory and power, while his reforms addressed some of its long-standing problems. Caesar's legacy is complex and often contradictory. He was a champion of the people, yet he ruled as a dictator. He strengthened the Roman state, yet his actions ultimately led to its transformation from a republic into an empire. He was a man of immense talent and ambition, flawed like any human, but one who helped shape the course of history. The assassination of Caesar did not save the Republic. Instead, it plunged Rome into another period of civil war. Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, later known as Augustus, emerged as the victor. Through a combination of political acumen and military might, Augustus outmaneuvered his rivals, including Mark Antony and Cleopatra of Egypt. In 27 BC, Octavian formally established the Roman Empire, marking the end of the Republic. He assumed the title of Augustus, becoming the first Roman emperor. The empire that Augustus founded would endure for centuries, grandson of the goddess Venus. Despite their lineage, the Iuli were not wealthy. Caesar's childhood was immersed in the tumultuous world of Roman politics. His uncle, Gaius Marius, was a celebrated general and a leader of the Populares, a political faction favoring the common people. This early exposure shaped Caesar's worldview and ignited his political aspirations. Rome was a republic, but power struggles were common. The Senate, composed of noble families, held significant influence. However, ambitious individuals could find other paths to power. They could use military success and popular support to challenge the established order. This path, fraught with risk and opportunity, would come to define Caesar's life. Caesar's military career began, like many others of his class, with a standard path of service and duty. He served with distinction in various campaigns, proving himself a capable soldier and a leader who could inspire his men. However, it was his appointment as governor of Gaul, modern-day France, that would truly forge his legend and set him apart from his peers. Gaul, a vast and fertile land, was inhabited by fiercely independent tribes, each with its own customs and leaders. It was a challenging command, but for Caesar, it was an opportunity to demonstrate his strategic genius and expand Rome's influence. For almost a decade, Caesar waged relentless war against the Gauls, showcasing his military prowess and determination. He was a brilliant tactician and a charismatic leader who inspired his legions. His victories came at Alesia in 50